And I remember I opened the package the first time and I did my nails and I was like, oh, I did it myself. I was very excited. Like I had that like epiphany moment of I did something beauty brand myself and it doesn't look bad. I was really excited. And so a couple nights later, I went out to dinner with some of my high school friends and I was telling some story. And as you can see, I gesture with my hands quite often. And I'm telling a story, and my one friend, she's like, Candace, stop talking. And I was like, oh, like, oops, what did I do? And she's like, your nails look amazing. And we are so confused. What is happening? And I was like, I know, look what I did. I did it myself. And I started like spewing out all the information I knew about colors. It was very minimal at the time, but I was so excited because again, I'd done it myself and people were noticing. And so when I got home from that dinner, I realized how much fun it was sharing with my friends, seeing how they got excited and how much I loved it. So I was like, you know what? Why don't I see if this can turn into a business? Let's give it a shot because clearly I'm going to keep wearing them anyway.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Orlando Podcast. Today with me I have Candace Hornborg. Candace, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Awesome. Well, hey Candace, I want to start off by asking the same question we ask everybody. Why do you do what you do?
Well, it's actually funny that I do what I do because I am not a very girly person. I'm sure you could guess that based on my general, appearance here today. But I got started with Color Street about 3 years ago because it's a product that's really easy to use. And me not being girly and not having the ability to do all the girly things, this was a product that I could do and I could do well. And it was easy and it was fun. And so I felt like when I was using Color Street, I felt more put together. I felt like I was looking more like a grown up. I really enjoyed that. And then, once I got started with the business, it was just so much fun sharing it with other people and making more friends that, here I am 3 years later, still loving the opportunity, loving sharing it with people every single day.
Wow, that's kind of cool. So what specifically is Color Street? For people that may not be real familiar with the business, I know that I don't have a ton of knowledge about it.
Yeah, the company's only about 5 years old. So a lot of people still haven't heard about Color Street. It's dry nail polish, which sounds kind of crazy because what we're all used to, because it's all we've ever had our whole lives, is bottle nail polish, right? Where you paint it on and you have to wait for it to dry and it's a whole long process. Well, our company has developed, it's called dry nail polish. It's a base coat, a color, and a top coat all in one. And it kind of looks like a sticker, but made of 100% nail polish. The beauty is the top coat and the color are completely dry. So you can go ahead and put them on your nails without having to worry about smudges. You don't have to worry about dry time, nothing, but they leave the base coat about 90% dry. So it's still a little tacky. So it just sticks right on your nail. You go ahead and file off the extra and your nails are done in less than 10 minutes and you can go about your day and you don't have to worry about messing up your nails like you would had you gone to a salon or done them yourself. So a lot of people have found that that is super helpful, especially if you have kids or if you're busy. And it's also less expensive than going to the salon. So it's a nice money saver as well.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Do they have any other products besides nail polish? Is there anything that men would use, or is it, or is the product line specifically designed for women?
It's mainly aimed towards women, though some men are using nail polish more. So it's obviously something they can use. And within this past year, we've actually expanded into having a hand and nail care line. That is something that has hand lotion, which of course could be used by either gender. There is a cuticle oil, which is something that's really great just for hydrating around the edges of your nails to help make them strong and nice and moisturized. We also have a nail strengthener. So if you've got really flimsy or brittle nails, you can use this to make them not break as often. And a nail polish remover. And then most recently, we just expanded into lipstick. So we now carry 12 lipsticks. We've got lip liners. We have a lip primer, which is basically, it's kind of like a moisturizing, like I want to say like a chapstick, but it's not chapstick. But this one is perfectly clear. There's no color to it. So either gender could use this as well, just for moisturizing your lips. And then there is also a tinted lip balm, which is like one of my most favorite things to use on the everyday basis. So we're kind of expanding out past just nail polish to become really a true beauty brand. But it's a lot of fun stuff. And I'm hoping that we can get into stuff that more men specifically can use. But I would say our target audience is generally mostly women.
Okay, very cool. Well, let's back up a little bit. You said you've been in this business 3 years. Tell me a little bit about how you got started and where things are at today.
Yeah, it's a funny story. So, like I mentioned, I'm not girly at all. And it was a little over 3 years ago that my cousin invited me to an online Color Street party, which I didn't even know what that was. I was like you, I'd never even heard of Color Street. And I was like, well, I guess I need to show up and be supportive. And I joined the party, and there was a buy three, get one free deal going on, which I'm never one to pass up a good sale. So, to support my cousin, I went ahead and placed an order. And so my nail sets came, and they come flat. So they're packaged, nice and flat, easy to mail. And I remember I opened the package the first time and I did my nails, and I was like, oh, I did it myself. I was very excited. Like, I had that like epiphany moment of I did something beauty brand myself and it doesn't look bad. I was really excited. And so a couple nights later, I went out to dinner with some of my high school friends, and I was telling some story. And as you can see, I gesture with my hands quite often. And I'm telling a story, and my one friend, she's like, Candace, stop talking. And I was like, oh, like, oops, what did I do? And she's like, your nails look amazing. And we are so confused. What is happening? And I was like, I know, look what I did. I did it myself. And I started like spewing out all the information I knew about colors. It was very minimal at the time, but I was so excited because, again, I'd done it myself and people were noticing. And so when I got home from that dinner, I realized how much fun it was sharing with my friends, seeing how they got excited and how much I loved it. So I was like, you know what? Why don't I see if this can turn into a business? Let's give it a shot, because clearly I'm going to keep wearing them anyway. And I decided to go ahead and give it a shot. And here I am 3 years later. And I have now a team across the United States. I have a couple ladies in Canada. I'm doing vendor events. I've been asked to speak on stage at our national conference this past summer, which was pretty exciting. So it was something that literally started as a look, I can do it myself. And now here I am with a business. So I'm pretty excited about it.
That's awesome. So I want to go back to that realization of maybe this is a business. When you started to introduce other people to the product, was there a big cost to get into it? Did you have a lot of fear about starting to do that? What were those early weeks, months, that first year like? And then I might have some additional questions
Yeah,
after
yeah,
that.
no, that's a great question. So the cost to start up for Color Street is only $129 for the starter kit, which is nice because it's not something that's normally going to break the bank for the majority of people, which is great. And the kit comes with 13 sets of nails, comes with catalogs, comes with a cute bag, comes with what we call twosies. They're these little like two-finger testers we can use as samples. So it kind of comes like a business in a box. Not everything you need, but the majority. And so my first logic when I signed up was, okay, for $129, I'm going to get 13 sets of nails. And if nothing else, I'll just wear them myself. So
Mhm.
I'd be fine with that because I'm going to be a customer as well. So it was more of a, maybe I can, make some money, but if not, I'm going to buy them anyway. And my second thought when I signed up was at the time, we had these horrible jalousie windows in our house, which anyone who lives in Florida, you guys know these older homes have those jalousie windows that just like flood your air conditioning out and bring the heat in. And this bright window here behind me, this was my like motivating factor. We could not sit and eat breakfast in the morning because it was so hot from the jalousie window from the heat coming in. And so my thought was, okay, I'm gonna wear the nails. Maybe I can save up enough money from sales to replace that window with a good energy efficient window. Like, that's my goal. And so I started working, and after a few months, I had the money for that window, which I was really excited about. And I thought, well, that didn't take as long as I thought. Maybe I can save up enough money for the one in the kitchen and the one in my kids' room and so on and so forth. And long story short, by the end of my first year within Color Street, I replaced the entire house with hurricane energy efficient windows, which was awesome because now my house is freezing and it's delightful. So that was my first thought was, we'll see how it goes. I wasn't putting any pressure on myself to create a business because really I thought it would just be fun to share and fun to wear myself. As I continued on and started building and sharing and building a team because people wanted to do this with me, which makes it more fun anyway, that's when I started really seeing that flip of, oh, this might be something that can keep me home with my kids. Maybe this is something that'll prevent me from having to go out and find a job. Because our plan was originally for me to go back to work once our youngest was in kindergarten, which was this August.
Mhm.
And I thought maybe, I can do something with this that come that year when Haley goes to school, I won't have to go find a job and this can be it instead. And so that's really when I started wanting to work and focus more on how the compensation plan works so that I could make the bigger dollars so that I could stay home. And I've been fortunate enough that, by working my business on my own time and putting in the effort that I've been able to do that so I don't have to go back to work anymore.
That's great. I love that your motivation was, I want to have enough money to change this one window.
Yeah, it was just one. That's all I was going for, one window, because I wanted to be able to eat breakfast at my table. That was my whole goal in life, was to eat breakfast at my table. And it's funny because then once I did the windows, then I needed a new goal. And so then it was, okay, well, let's get a new roof. So then I was saving all my Color Street income for a new roof, which I now have the money for that as well. Then of course Hurricane Ian came through and threw off everything. But even still, like, it was like, okay, we'll use all my Color Street money for all those big house things that, aren't fun to pay for, but need to be done. And that
Yeah.
way, was kind of alleviating the stress from my husband, because as a firefighter paramedic, there's only so much money to be made unless he wants to work tons of hours.
Yeah.
So I was trying to kind of help balance that out so he wouldn't have to work all those things for us to accomplish with our house what we wanted to do.
That's great. I want to know a little bit more about, you started selling it. What tactics did you use to market the products? What were you did you have specific goals every day or week for specific activities you were doing to gain traction to reach
Yeah.
that goal of the one window? Talk to me a little bit about the activities or the habits you developed in order to reach that first goal.
So my first goal was I needed to get the word out there. So I started with a Facebook party, because again, that's where I had been introduced to the product, was through Facebook. And the benefit of that is I was able then to invite people from all over the country, from wherever I'd known people, to come to this online party to learn more about the product and things like that. So I was inviting my friends, both, I would text them, I would call them, I'd send them private messages. I would ask them to invite their friends, my mom to invite her friends, just kind of word of mouth kind of thing, just like, you're having a fun party and you want people to show up. That was kind of how I started. And that party group was the core in the beginning of what I call my VIP group. So I still have a Facebook group where people can join, and I keep them up to date on, all the new Color Street stuff and what's going on with my life, and, demos and just random things to be, just a fun group to be part of. And so part of my daily routine is making sure that I have content going up in that group every day. I make sure that it's not just nails, 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 because even I would get bored of that, even though there's so many pretty ones to show off. Kind of mixing it up between playing games, talking about special sales, all that kind of fun stuff. The second thing I did after my party was I went out and about and I just talked about it with people I saw, because the thing that's nice about the Color Street product is it's very visual. So my nails are done. As you can see, I'm holding them up. This is my Thanksgiving manicure. I'm still wearing it. I wanted to show that off, that it still looks this good after cooking Thanksgiving dinner, doing all the dishes, all the things. I've got my little turkey here on my ring finger as an accent, and then this fun blue because I love blue colors. But when you're out and about, nails are just a natural thing that women notice, and people will naturally say like, "Oh, I love your nails." And so that was a perfect window every single time to be like, "Oh, thanks so much. I did it myself. Let me go ahead and show you how." And I will go ahead and then pull out one of my little samples. I do a quick demo because it only takes a couple seconds. And they would be like, "What just happened? How are your nails painted? I'm so confused." And then that was a potential customer for me. So just going out and about and having my friends and family going out and about, those were things that easily helped, generate excitement and new customers and things like that for the business. I had a goal, and I still like this goal. I like to make a sale every single day. That's always a goal. If I can make one sale a day, we're hitting the goals I've set for myself, and I'm very happy. Does that always happen? No, because, life gets busy and, people get, busy, but then some days you have two sales and kind of makes up. So that was always my goal at the beginning, was if I'm touching my business every day and I'm making a sale every day, I'm steadily getting closer to my window goal. So that was kind of where I started, was one a day.
That's awesome. I love that. I love that the goal was a sale a day and make enough money to replace the window. But what I love even more is that after you met that goal in a shorter amount of time than you had anticipated, it wasn't just, okay, great. It was, well, now I need a bigger goal.
Yeah.
and now I need a bigger goal. And I think that's really important for business owners to constantly be moving the goalpost.
Yeah.
Even when you fall short of the goalpost, if you don't set that goal big enough, you're cheating yourself, or at least that's how I feel. If I make it something easy, I'm gonna cheat myself.
Yeah. We always
Um,
call it, we want to have a big scary goal. So like an
right,
easy goal would be like, I want to be able to pay for pizza. Like that's an easier goal. But a big scary goal is like, I want to take my family on a trip to Disney and not freak out about how much money I'm spending. You know, you want to set those big goals. So I actually have, you can't see it because it's on this side of my computer. I have a vision board where I've put like pictures and words and stuff of things that I want to accomplish with my business. And then as I accomplish them, I get to check them off, which makes me feel good because, you know, it's always nice to check something off a list. You know, I always do that. And then once I accomplish that goal, I know, okay, it's time to set something new because, you know, as you know, when it's your own personal business, there's no one telling you what to do and there's
mhm.
nobody forcing you to do anything. So if you don't set something for yourself that you really want, it's really easy to kind of get lazy and not keep working. So I always like to put that out there of, okay, what am I doing next? Okay, the windows are done, check. Our pipes broke at one point. I had to replace the pipes. I did that, check. You know, the roof is going to be done. Well, you know, over the weekend, super exciting. Our garage door decided to start smoking when you tried to open and close it. So there's the next thing. Getting a new garage door. It's not necessarily like the sexiest thing to be replacing or the most exciting, but they're the things in life that need to be done. And it makes it less, you know, less stress because we know that we're comfortable and we're okay. And, you know, I'm having fun with the business anyway, and it's bringing in extra income. So it's all around a win is the way I see it.
That's awesome. It sounds like you've had a really great run in these first 3 years. It can't all be sunshine and roses. It never is when you own a business or operate a business. So, talk to me about some of the challenges you faced over that first year or these 3 years.
Yeah.
And if there's any particular books or resources that you've used,
Hmm.
and I guess the other thing that I'm trying to get at is there a level on your mindset that you've decided to dedicate to that has helped you kind of achieve these goals? Hey, before we go any further, if you're enjoying this content, please like and subscribe so you can help us get the word out about these amazing people and businesses here in the Orlando area. Don't miss out on upcoming episodes and help out the show. Now let's get back to it.
Well, the way I see it, it was okay. When I first started, I started in October 2019, and you know things were going well. Well, then COVID hit, and for most businesses, that was a huge detriment. But for Color Street, we skyrocketed because all the salons closed. Nobody could go out. Nobody could do anything. So people who would never have heard of Color Street were ordering and buying and trying and sharing and partying because there was nothing else to do. So they're like, yeah, let's do a party. So that year of 2020, like, whew, like we were like, it was insane how busy we were. I mean, our website, we couldn't even keep stuff in stock. We joke about it because they would do restocks of sets around dinner time. We called it stock o'clock because we would sit there and refresh, refresh, refresh. And then as soon as sets would hit the website, all of us stylists would like shop as fast as we could. We didn't care what we got, just so we'd have something to sell. But things have changed a lot since then because our company, our founder's name is Mr. Park. He's the one who invented this whole thing. He saw the need, so he worked to build the more machines. He expanded our warehouse. He was able to produce double the amount of nail sets that he was before COVID. All these things so that we would be properly equipped to continue with the business. So 2020, you know, rolled through, and then the world started reopening again. So at that point, the world started leveling out, like the way it should have been in the business all along. So those people who, you know, were on my team or who were my customers who were like so focused on what was happening with the business, now there was something else to do because they could leave home again. And so it kind of started going like this. And you had to kind of reshift your mindset to figure out how am I still going to reach customers when they're out doing other things? You know, I don't have
Yeah.
them sitting surfing Facebook 20 hours of the day because there was nothing else to do. So that was a little tough, just kind of keeping everyone focused, keeping my team motivated and excited, coming up with new techniques and party options and things like that, just to kind of, you know, shift with the business. So that was kind of something that started leveling out, I'd say, in 2021 and still has continued, you know, into now. Some people, you know, it's hard to keep the motivation for other people. You can't want the business for them. You
Yeah.
have to want it for yourself. So that was kind of a challenge. Um, you know, as far as for me, I'm like twofold. So one, I'm very competitive. I've always loved sports. Watching sports, playing sports, all things. So for me, I've made a competition with myself. Like I want to always surpass what I've done. And so if I'm just hitting the bare minimum, I'm like, well, I did it. But then I'm also mildly disappointed because I should have been trying harder. So I set that goal for myself. And then also among my teammates, I have accountability partners where we kind of check in with each other and say, hey, did you do that thing you were supposed to do today? Because we talked about that. And then, even just having to answer to one person really, kind of lights a fire under your butt that you have to keep working because you don't want to be the one to be like, nope, totally just went to sleep that day. So you want to kind of keep it going. So yeah, I mean, the business is something that you have to really work for because you're planting seeds all the time. So just because you spoke to somebody one time doesn't mean they're going to buy from you. And it doesn't mean they're going to want to do the business or host a party. It's something where you have to keep getting in front of people, keep offering the opportunities, keep showing off the nail sets. And, I've had people who've been in my VIP group for years and they didn't make their first sale until like October. Like they'll be in there and they're like, finally something sparked. And like with the lipstick line that came out, I had people who'd never bought nail sets from me before, but they wanted lipstick. And that's when they started actually becoming customers. So, you know, getting in the mindset of understanding that things are not just like, oh, I made a sale every day. You really do have to make sure you're being consistent and showing up. Otherwise, your business is going to dwindle because, people won't pay attention to you anymore.
I think I really liked what you said, and I don't know if anybody else caught it too, but constantly planting seeds,
Yep.
right?
100%.
I'm in the real estate business, and so for me, it's prospecting. It's constantly looking for new people that I can have conversations with, just to get to know them, introduce them. Most of the people I talk to are not like, "Yeah, I want to buy a house right now," right?
Right.
It's a year later, it's 2 years later, it's 3 years later when they're ready to downsize.
Yeah. And to that end, it's not only that they're ready, it's building the relationship with them so that way when their friend needs a house, they can be like, oh, let me talk to you, my friend Tyler. He can hook you up. So
Yeah,
building those connections and those relationships is important because referral business, I mean, that's everything. When you get referrals from customers, from friends, from family, I mean, I literally do a happy dance. Like you see all those little things on Facebook about doing a happy dance for small business. That actually does happen. Like that's a thing. You go, woo, every time. And then you have to announce to the whole room what happened because you get so excited.
yeah. Outside of using Facebook and that private Facebook group, are there any other systems that you've implemented to help with follow up to continue to try to stay top of mind and plant seeds and maintain relationships?
Um, well, with Facebook, it's the easiest just because I can get to people outside of my town.
Right.
Here in town, I'm always, if I go out somewhere, my nails are always done. So I'm always ready to talk to somebody. I always carry this little pouch with me that has some nail sets, has some samples, stuff like that. I also really like to do vendor events. So especially this time of year, well, in the fall and into the spring, when you have the nice weather in Florida, so you can be outside without melting. Getting in front of people that way is always great. I also use, like I said, I will text, I will personal message, I will email, but not too much because I don't want to be that like spammy person that's just always constantly like down your throat about stuff. But, when I think it's relevant and, stuff like that, I always make sure to kind of reach out. But, just relationship building, checking in, seeing how people are doing. I think that's kind of one of the most important things you can do with any business.
Yeah. I think that's so true. Regardless of what product or service you offer people, if you focus on the relationship and just maintaining a relationship, checking in, hey, how
Hmm.
you doing? That can go a long way to help you stay top of mind, especially if they already know what you do.
Right.
Um, and thanks holidays and when big events like Hurricane Ian and things like that happen, those are great opportunities for anybody in any business, regardless of what product and service they use, to reach out and touch all the people that they know.
Yep.
Hey, right, with the hurricane, the great example is, hey, how'd you do from the hurricane? Right,
Yeah.
just checking how are you doing, how did things go?
Right.
you know
Which
Obviously
is
you probably aren't thinking about buying nails right now, but are you
right.
okay? Do you need
Yep.
anything?
And that's what I did a lot with the people who are here local to where the hurricane. But my customer base isn't just in Florida, thankfully. And so what I actually ended up doing with my customers is I did a fundraiser where anyone who ordered on my website, I donated all of my commission for the entire month of October to my kids' elementary school because it got flooded from the hurricane
Wow.
and they had to completely strip and redo. So I'm like, these teachers lost all of their things. So all my commission for that month was something I went ahead and donated and got them new supplies and the new things on the teachers list. And that was something that, my customers who were out of state and didn't live through the hurricane, they could contribute. I mean, they're buying themselves pretty nails, but they're also then knowing that they're contributing towards helping out a school, which is nice. So that was a choice that I made to try to help out because, I was here in the thick of it too with no power and no water and, and no stuff for all those days. So, but yeah, I think it's important to just to make sure. And I will say during the hurricane, I had no cell service for a while. So when all the messages started flooding through, I was really truly touched how many, not just teammates, but customers reached out asking if I was okay.
Yeah.
And, 3 years ago before I had Color Street, 90% of those people would never have known me and they never would have asked if I was okay. They never would have mailed me. Like I had someone mail me a box of goldfish and cookies because they knew I liked those things. I had someone else mail my kids like coloring books and just people just doing those, acts of kindness, just because of this business, which I think is awesome.
That's so great. Building relationships because of nails.
Yeah. Crazy, right? Never would have thought. Yeah.
That's so fun.
It is. And it's, again, my whole family still laughs because, again, I'm not girly, but nails are my thing now. And I do nails and everyone's like, seriously? And I'm like, I know. And get this, I'm learning how to use lipstick. Blowing your mind.
Oh, there you go. I love it. Well, so I've got a couple of questions about if somebody is listening to this and they're interested, and not necessarily, maybe it's the products, maybe it's the opportunity that presents itself through Color Street as a sales rep or being a part of your team. What's one thing that, what are some of the things that you would tell them to talk them out of it?
Talk them out of it. If you are not self-motivated, you wouldn't want to do this. If you are uncoachable, you wouldn't want to do this. And if you're, well, I would say if self-doubting is kind of a way of saying it, but basically if you're constantly telling yourself you can't, because until you give yourself the opportunity to say that you can, you're always going to be closing yourself off to any potential thing. Because something that I have found with a lot of new stylists within my team, a lot of times when they start, we're all scared, right? Because nobody wants to fail. Nobody likes that. Nobody wants to. And by starting a new business, you're very much putting yourself out there to fail. And that's terrifying. But if you're willing to be coached and you're willing to try something you haven't tried before, you might need to go live on Facebook. You might need to say something to that stranger at the grocery store about nails so that you can show her. Like little things like that aren't necessarily difficult to do, but it will be out of your comfort zone. If those are things you're unwilling to try, you're probably gonna have a hard time succeeding in the business because it's not something you can just post and say, I'm a Color Street stylist, and everybody buys from you. That is not generally how that works. You do have to actually put forth the effort to do so. But, thankfully, my team and I offer, we have tons of coaching, tons of training, tons of ways to kind of help you through it. But if you are unwilling to try something or to be coached, you may struggle. So you kind of have to make sure you have an open mind to it as well.
I love that. That's great. And I don't normally ask people how they would discourage somebody from taking on an opportunity. But I oftentimes talk to people about getting into the real estate business. And I'm usually more apt to highlight the things that are incredibly challenging about it than the things that are great about it, right?
Yeah.
The great things are, I control my own schedule. I can make, my income potential is not capped. I can make a lot of money, but that comes with a lot of other downsides. So,
sure. And you have to be tough in that you're going to be told no a lot. That's just sales. Like anything with sale-based anything. I mean, you probably show people 20 houses before maybe they say yes to one. And even if that one house is perfect and you're like, God, because but you have to be patient. And the same thing is with any sale. Just because I've spoken to somebody one time doesn't mean they're automatically a customer. Doesn't mean they're automatically buying something. And you have to be prepared for that you do have to, work and think of who and think of how to network and find people, because it's not a storefront where people are just going to come into you. You have to be able to put yourself out there and figure out ways. And again, we have suggestions for these things, but you have to be willing to put yourself out there to do that. Otherwise, you're going to struggle.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Well, what should people know about you or Color Street that we haven't already told them?
Let's see. So about me, so I am a stay-at-home mom. I have two kids. So I've got a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old, and then I have an almost, she turns 1 tomorrow, puppy who is just off the walls crazy. So thankfully right now she's asleep next to me and we're good. But normally she's just all over the place. And so I'm a busy person, but I love that I'm able to work my business into my crazy life, so I can be sitting here and work while the kids are at school or take them to soccer practice. So that's something that I love. I graduated from UCF, obviously, and I'm a
Go
huge
Knights.
Knights fan. Go Knights! Whoop whoop. So just stuff like that. But again, I'm a very straightforward person. So if you have questions about the product, questions about the business, I'm not going to sugarcoat it and be like, you're going to love this if I don't think you will. Like, I'm not going to push something on you that I don't think you'll love because I don't back something that I don't love. So that is something that I always like to tell people, and anyone on my team knows that if somebody wants it straightforward, go to Candace because she's going to not sugarcoat it. She's going to be honest and polite, but she's going to be honest. So, that is something, I always like to make sure people know. And I think that's important in sales, that you're able to present something honestly and you're not trying to be schwarmy and just, try to get the sale.
I think that is so pivotal, and I believe in the same thing. I've had different sales roles in my life before, and the places where I've succeeded was anytime I was able to sell a product I believed in. It's something that I would buy, right? And if I ever reached a point where I didn't believe in the product or the company that sold the product anymore, I found that my ability to sell it basically went out the window.
Yeah. And I think people can see right through that too, because if they see that you're trying to sell them something that you don't believe in, it comes across in how you present. I don't care how good at acting you are, how good at sales you are. It comes across that something's a little off by what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So, for me, the fact that I do nails is still funny because not girly. When Color Street started talking about how they're going to do makeup and starting with lipstick, so eventually, apparently, they're going to expand into other makeup as well. So I'm assuming at some point we're going to have like eyeshadow and blush, all these things I'm going to have to learn how to use because I don't know how to use them yet. I was very nervous because I'm like, I don't know if I believe in lipstick. I've worn chapstick my entire life and I don't know that I'm comfortable, selling it. But, again, like I just mentioned to you, you have to try something new and put yourself out of your comfort zone. So I, of course, ordered some of these products to try and I realized, I do like this product. Like, is it every color for everyone? Absolutely not. Like, there are colors I cannot pull off. And I will tell you straight up, I'm not an orange person. That does not work. But I learned that I never would have tried lipstick had I not been a Color Street stylist because I'd gone my whole life without it. And it's something so silly because it's just makeup,
Yeah.
but it's something that I have learned that I really do enjoy, and it makes you feel good about yourself. And I think with the world being as crazy as the world can be, and there's just so much negativity everywhere, when you can find those small, easy things that make you just have like this makes me feel good moment, that's something I love sharing about this product because I know not only is it helping you look good, but nails are something specifically that you see. You don't have to go to a mirror to see what you look like. Your hands are moving every day. They're a beauty product that will make you feel good just by looking at yourself all day long. And I love that, knowing that my customers feel better using the product.
That's
It makes
great.
me happy.
Awesome. Well, where can people find out more about you and the products that you guys offer, and maybe even the opportunity that's available as a business owner?
Absolutely. So if you want to go to my website for shopping purposes, it's colorstreet.com/Candace Hornborg. And on there, you'll be able to see all the nail sets, all of the lipstick products. There's also a link on my website to the opportunity. That's what we call it. So if you click where it says join on the website, there's a whole slew of information about being a stylist, about the starter kit, all of those things. And that's where, if you wanted to join, you would go to do that. Um, on the flip side, I also have on Facebook a VIP group. It's called Nailed It Nails with Candace. And I will keep you up to date on all of those things. And you can, of course, just private message me and ask me any questions anytime. My team and I put together an opportunity Zoom call about once every 10 days or so. And that's open to anyone who wants to come listen. We've got about a 30-minute presentation where we talk about, the history of the company, what the company's doing, where it's going, what being a stylist is all about. And, if this is something that you're curious about, I'd be more than happy to get you invited to one of those calls. You don't have to talk or turn to camera if you don't want to. But we like to talk about it, just kind of have, you want to have the information. It's not my job to sell you on the business, but it is my job to at least give you the opportunity to listen, and then you can decide if it's for you or if it's not. So those are things that we kind of have available for you as well. Trying to think of where else. I think that's about it. You would also find on the website, like I said, all the lip products and the hand and nail care. And then also just know that we do have seasonal nail sets. So, during Christmas time, we've got fun Christmas sets. We've got Valentine's Day sets. We have St. Patrick's Day, Halloween, all those kind of things. So if you're just looking for like a fun gift or something like that. And then there's also a core line. And there's so many that are always coming out and so many that are new. To say you've worn all the colors, I'm going to call you out and say you're flat out lying because it's impossible. I have so many sets I've wanted to wear and I try so hard to change my nails, but the sets last, 10 days. You don't have to do your
Sure.
nails any sooner. So there's always something new and always something different, which is great. So you always want to kind of check out the website, see what's new and what's coming. And something else that I didn't mention earlier that I'd like to about our company, just because I think it's amazing, is we have a foundation. Something that was really, really important to Mr. Park, our founder, when he started, was he wanted to be able to give back. He didn't want to pick just one charity to always give to. He wanted to give back to basically everyone. So what we do is about once a month. It's not every month, during like holidays times and stuff. There's not. They're going to come out with a foundation set, and that set is representative of the cause it supports. So, like for example, we had a set last month for Alzheimer's. And so they came out with a set. I think it's called, I can't remember. Never Forgotten. I think it's called Never Forgotten. And the proceeds from the sales from that set go towards specific charities. And we donated like $100,000 to Alzheimer's charities. We've done breast cancer. We've done child abuse awareness. We have done ovarian cancer. We have done suicide prevention awareness, and just, so many things. They've donated over $6 million to charities in the last 5 years. So that's something that I always find is really important, just knowing that you're working for a company that not only is selling a really quality product, but they're also putting an importance and a stress on making sure we're giving back and helping people in need. So I think that's pretty amazing as well. And you can always find the foundation sets on our website as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being here today. I'll give you the opportunity to give parting words of wisdom. One or two things that you would tell either a budding entrepreneur or established business owner based off of what you've learned. What do you got for words of wisdom?
I would say make sure you're having fun, because if you are working a business and you are never smiling and you are not feeling that sense of joy, you're doing something wrong or you're in the wrong business. So you want to make sure that you're doing something that, fills you with joy. I'm not rainbow and sunshine. Every day isn't filled with joy. There's going to be stressful moments, but you should have joy and you should have happiness from your business. So you make sure that you're finding something that gives you that sense of purpose and that sense of fulfillment, so that you're actually having fun and making money at the same time.
Awesome. I love that. Have fun in your business. All right. Well, Candace, thank you so much for being here today. And thank you again for tuning in and listening. We'll see you around Central Florida.